This is the new for February 2023 Jack Wolf Knives Javelina Jack. A beautiful single-bladed Sowbelly knife. Sowbelly slip joint. Made and designed by Ben Belkin and made to his exacting standards. If you don't know Ben Belkin, before he started Jack Wolf Knives, less than 2 years ago, he was a connoisseur, or still is, a connoisseur of fine slip joint knives. He has a great sprawling collection of custom slip joints as well as high-end production slip joints. And in making this company, he wanted to produce versions of his favorite patterns, the world's favorite slip joint patterns, in modern materials with modern manufacturing. And you know the story. And this is the 11th release. 11th? I think this is the 11th release, and it is a beaut. Now, I'm a big fan of Sowbelly knives. That's referring to this shape of this handle here. I only have one, and this is the first one I've had where I can really appreciate the ergonomics. We'll get into that in a second, but I'm really psyched about how beautiful this micarta is. All the micarta I've gotten on the Jack Wolf Knives folders have been really nice, but I think this is the best micarta so far, and I know that the micarta is going the way of the dodo for Jack Wolf Knives, just because there isn't as much of a demand as there is for the beautiful fat carbon and camo carbon covers he's been offering. So those have been getting snapped up, and I don't know, maybe some people think these are so fine that micarta is a little too workaday a material for them, but I personally love micarta, and I do love these new beautiful dazzling carbon fibers, way better than the basket weave of days gone by. But still, to have micarta on a lot of them is that's my preference. This is a beautiful single bolster Sowbelly, and you can see that the bolster and the liner are one piece, and there obviously are two liners screwed together and pinned together underneath this cover. So you remove the covers and you can see that stuff. There's the spring, immaculate interior. Of course, that's blasted titanium, and I think that's an 8, a 10. I'm not sure. I haven't messed with the pivot. These are also perfect. I haven't even considered opening these up or messing with the pivots, but it's nice that you can if you're a serious tinkerer, and I think you'd have to be, because these come so great. The pull on this is really good. People like to rate the pull weight of a blade, but it's totally subjective. I mean, to me, this is like an 8 opening up and maybe a 7 closing. I don't know. But it's on the stouter side. All of the springs in the Jack Wolf Knives collection are on the stouter side. And they can all be pinched open, perhaps with one exception. The Vampire Jack is the most difficult to pinch open, but you still can. Or at least I still can. Unlike most of the knives that came before it, except the Venom Jack right before this one, this is in S90V. The first 9 knives were in M390, and I think people were asking, let's try another super steel, and Ben listened and obliged, and that is so cool. And that's a huge part of his brand is, many days of the week he goes on different people's lives, our trusted voices of the internet, people that we go to, that we love. He's doing all the live shows. He's been on mine. He's been on the recorded podcast too, and he loves talking to the people who love knives, because he's a knife lover himself. And in doing so, and also in tapping into his own expertise and connoisseurship of this style of knife, putting it all together, he's made these just incredible knives, and he really pushes them. I think he pushes the maker And I don't know who that maker is. He's contractually obliged to keep that quiet. But whoever it is knows what they're doing. Full height, hollow grind makes this incredibly thin. See, I never do this because I always forget, but let me cut some paper. Let me show you how easily this glides through. Wait, let's see if I can cut a. I mean, that's pretty cool. I've never been able to do that before. These things are wicked sharp. They're very, very sharp. And this is S90V, which holds an edge forever. And thus far, I have gone incredibly easy on this knife, only using it for food so far. But, you know, I expect I will never have to sharpen this knife. Truly and honestly, never have to sharpen this knife. I may have to strop it just for fun, just to get it way back to that super, super sharp. But I don't know what I'm going to be cutting with this for an extended period of time that will dull this incredibly sharp S90V. And I love that. That's why I think super steels are best suited to small everyday carry knives that people who don't sharpen knives carry, really. I mean, in a way, that's their best bet, because something like this, someone could have this for many years and get by with it. It's so thin behind the edge. Even if this dulled somewhat, it's so thin behind the edge, it's still going to cut a lot of different things like fruit and stuff like that. And yeah, well, that's my theory anyway. I don't know why, but I feel compelled, because I cut that paper as if it did anything, but it is a gratifying action. And then just look at that edge. It's like so perfectly. I got a little bit of schmutz on the end. That edge is so perfectly done. My gosh, look at that. Beautiful knife. The action on this is stupendous. People say that two-handed knives aren't fidgety. I beg to differ, especially if they have a challenging spring to work. Not challenging, but, you know, it feels satisfying to pull against a knife that gives some resistance. This is the first serious Sowbelly in my collection. That sounds snobby, and I don't mean it to sound snobby. Actually, I have this Rough Rider Sowbelly that I absolutely love. It's got beautiful bone on both sides. It's got very nice fit and finish. It's got the fit and finish, at the very least, of a case knife. Obviously, a steel way less than this S90V. But here's what I want to talk about. Something that Jack Wolf Knives has really opened my eyes to, thanks to Ben's designs, and that's ergonomics in these classic designs. Now look at the ergonomics of this. Beautiful knife, looks classic, even has this really cool spay blade. I love spay blades. Very nice shape on that spay blade, and very useful. But the problem with the spay blade is that it obscures the contours of that handle, and half of the ergonomics, and you might argue the most important half. So when you grip this knife, yeah, it works fine, and it's fine, but it could be way more than fine if that blade weren't there, and you could feel, here, I'm going to do this, and you could feel that full handle. So in Ben's I say insistence, but that sounds like not a way I really mean it. But in Ben's designing all of these knives he's been making single bladed, we've been exposed to the true ergonomics of these knives. Like, for instance, I have a number 66 Great Eastern Cutlery, which is a gun stock jack, but it has a secondary blade, which is a pen blade. So you don't feel that step, that area right there, which you do on this knife, because it's a single blade. When it's open and you're using it, look at that beautiful clip point blade. But when it's open and you're using it, you're really locked in there, feeling that you know, partition there and that step up for your smaller fingers to grab. It gives you a little bit more there for your smaller fingers to wrap around. So, you know, you really get that ergonomics, those ergonomics. Same with the Javelina Jack. Same here with the, I'm gonna remember all these names now. Laid back Jack, this sway back, which is great for, you know, pairing and backhanded peeling and backhanded use. But also the way he did it by not curving it so much as some traditional sway backs and keeping it single bladed, you get to feel those ergonomics and really benefit from those ergonomics. Not that you're going to ever use it like that, but hey, if you could, these knives, if you had to, I mean, these knives are so sturdily built. I would feel confident in a life or death situation, putting this knife in this grip and using it. But so this handle, you're getting the ergonomics of the swayback jack. Same thing here with the dog leg, the K9 jack. You're getting the full ergonomics of the K9. I used to not like the way these looked, the K9 handles. I mean, not this, but the dog leg handles. Used to not like how they looked, and then I got this in hand, and with that single blade, I was like, oh, I get it. It's so comfortable. You can see how it all nestles. It's all built for the human palm. It feels great in hand. Again, single blade equals great ergonomics, and I'll show it with a few others here. Here is the Vampire Jack. You can pop that open, open that without the nail neck. Beautiful dagger-like spear point. But again, you get the benefit of a single blade here with those ergonomics. Same with the bullet end, this bullet end jack, which is the Venom Jack. Again, that's like a little egg shape in the palm of your hand. Love that. And lastly in this list, I mean, they're all ergonomically great, but these ones really jumped out at me. This is a design of Ben's own design, and you can see how modern a take it is with the angles and facets on this. But if you squint your eyes, you know, they're kind of the same thing. But it's a more angular take on the same ergonomics, and the fact that there's a single blade there, it feels great in hand. It looks like it might not, because compared to everything else, it's a lot less round. But all right, so that's my long-winded way of saying that, I'll close all of these because they all have great action. My long-winded way of saying that I really have grown to appreciate and love the fact that these are all single-bladed, because really I get to see that they weren't designed just because they look pretty. The ergonomics are so important in the design of these knives, and that you get full expression with one blade. You're like, yeah, I get it. All right, sorry. So, Javelina Jack, let me show it just for comparison's sake, for size. Here it is with a full-size, kind of standard Swiss Army knife. I can never remember the measurement, so I'm just going to call it standard full-size. And here's a standard full-size trapper. All of my good trappers are in a room with a sleeping person that I don't want to awaken. And so this is the one that I keep on my desk. It's standard 4 1/4 inches. This is a Rough Rider. It's a pretty nice knife. This was given to me by BJ Hill, I think. Yeah. But anyway, you can see that these two very, very common slip joints and how this measures. And it just measures perfectly. This thing is great. Wait, well, let me just not be mysterious about it. 1, 2, 3 and a little bit more. 3.7 maybe, 3.673 long, and let's see. 1, 2, 3, and it's like about 2 3/4. This is so inexact at this point. It's all warped, and so don't take my word for it. Go to one of the purveyors where you've been seeing these Jack Wolf knives. I mean, they are being sold in a lot of different places. These drop on Friday, so tomorrow. These drop tomorrow. That would be the 17th of February. What the hell month are we in? February. So yeah, check this out. It is awesome. These are going to fly off the shelf, I think. They come in 4 other covers as well as this. This is the only micarta this time. The other are 4 absolutely luscious carbon fibers, 2 from Camo Carbon, 2 from Fat Carbon. All right, I've spoken enough about this lovely, beautiful knife. Do go check one out, and you won't be surprised. You won't be disappointed. And if you hate it and you want to sell it, you will get your money back on these. Probably then some. All right, thanks for watching.